There was a distinct intention that we had with this. 100% of the addressable market. In other words, it doesn't matter if you're using somebody else's product, doesn't matter whether you're buildings, roads, infrastructure, water, wastewater, power utilities. This is applicable everywhere. We recognize people have their favorites and what they want to do. The intention here was to really solve this problem for the marketplace. It's like, you know what? You want to keep using Maximo, you want to keep using SAP or whatever. That's fine. But you have a need, and this addresses that need. And we wanted to make sure anybody and everybody had access to it. We also industrialize this. And by that, I mean, we built this with an ExxonMobil in mind. So when we looked at how solid, how robust, how ironclad we wanted to build this, we built it with ExxonMobil in mind, which means we could launch this to any customer. Doesn't matter whether it's industrial or municipal or whatever. Well, we were doing a demo with our Australian business partners, and they're also consultants, et cetera. So we said, okay, pick any image you want. So it was a bright sunny day. They picked a large dark green transformer, and a very sharp shadow was cast across the transformer. And the condition assessment came, and it was talking about some elements of corrosion in a bolt and this and that. And we're looking and going, man, I don't see anything. So we said, wait a second, let's zoom in on that particular area over there. Against a very dark green background in the shade, it found corrosion at the base of a transformer around a bolt. I never would have seen it. So then we started looking at other photographs as well. And we're like, where is it pulling that information from? And sure enough, it would find some small insignia on a tank someplace and extract really important data about that. Go like, I wouldn't have seen that. Jen just pulled up a really good example here. Go ahead and talk about these two examples, Jen, if you want.
Right. When you go to the website, you can download this brochure. But this first picture here, this was a plate that it was impossible to move the hose that was blocking it. And it still transcribed and got the right information into the right fields. This is a picture of a hoist way, way up high, taken from floor level. It documented all the condition, rust and everything, you know, just from standing on the ground, aiming your iPhone at the ceiling of your plant.
It nailed stuff on the motor, on the coupling, on the chains, on the hoist material itself, and the girders, and in great detail on every one of these. And we're going like, oh my goodness, that was from over 30 feet away. You know, without the structure, these are really cool things to do, but so what? But if you look at asset management and say you have to make risk-based decisions and you got to get max value from your assets, two of the key elements, two of the what I consider the four main pillars. Well, how can you do a risk assessment, proper risk assessment, if you don't know what the condition of your assets are and if you don't even know what your assets are, never mind their condition? And how do you get max value out of them if you don't know what's going on with those assets? So the starting point is, I always believe, understanding the criticality of your assets, but then you have to understand what's going on with those. Historically, the notion of gathering asset information requires somebody to go out into the field and to look at an asset, maybe take some photos, go out with a clipboard, maybe go out with some particular app in Excel or something like that, and document information, read plate data, and come up with some sort of condition assessment based on what they can see. What we've done with MentorAPM's Asset Lens Asset Collector. So all you have to do is take a bunch of photos of your asset, and it identifies already what type of asset it is, what the tag ID is. So now you have a breadcrumb if you've got an existing register. And then you can look at all this collected data because it creates an asset register on the fly for you. And you can then say, oh, well, here's my plate data. And this is where we have the technology where Asset Lens, and we won't talk about exactly how we do it because it's very creative, actually captures all that plate data and puts it into Mentor. So you have all the attributes required for motors, whatever the voltage is, temperatures, all that other kind of stuff. And it does a level 2 condition assessment on anything associated with that asset where you've designated as the photos for asset condition assessment in seconds.
We were at a water finance conference and listening to CFOs of utilities say, I've got my job to create capital plans. I don't necessarily understand why engineering is asking me for new equipment, new projects. And so when you can raise that visibility, you've got condition information about your assets. You can show it to the other divisions in your organization that have to participate in strategic decisions. Yes, then we really get into well-informed strategic planning and good asset management.